Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Wyatt from Mrs. Wyatt's Wise Owl Teacher Creations, and today we're going to talk about reading multisyllabic words. The emphasis on today's video is reading words with that vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel pattern. So to begin, let's talk about what exactly is a syllable. So a syllable can be a one single word syllable, like cat, flash, brush, or it can be a multisyllabic word where you're going to have word parts, and each word part is considered a syllable. Every syllable must have a vowel, and that's because vowels are continuous sounds, and they are like the glue that holds all of the letters together. The vowel sound within a syllable can be spelt with one or more vowels. So it's going to depend on how you spell that specific vowel pattern. So for example, in the word highway, highway is a two-syllable word. That first syllable high, the vowel in it is the long I sound, and it's spelt with IGH. And then the second syllable is way, so that long A sound, that A, is spelled AY. So every syllable is going to have at least one vowel sound, and it's going to be spelt depending on the pattern that's being used. You're not going to have multiple vowel patterns within a syllable. So here's some more important information about syllables. So why are they important? They help students determine the vowel sound within each syllable, and it's going to aid them in increasing their accuracy for reading and spelling skills. So let's dive into syllable division strategies. So for this one, we're talking about teaching VCCV words. So when two consonants come between two vowels, typically you're going to divide between those consonants. So for the word rabbit, you have your vowel and then your second vowel, and between those two vowels you have two consonants. So typically, and I tell my students typically because there are some exceptions, you're going to divide between those two consonants. And then this is where syllable practice and knowledge is going to come into play, because then they will be able to identify that this is a closed syllable because that consonant is closing in that vowel, so that vowel is going to say its sound. So ab, rab. The second syllable is also a closed syllable because the consonant is closing in that vowel, so that vowel is going to say I, b, it, bit, rabbit. Now there are a few exceptions to this rule. The majority of the time this strategy will work, but it's important to point out some exceptions. So you're going to keep digraphs, L and R blends together. So in the word socket, yes, you do have a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel pattern, but because that CK is a digraph, you would keep it together. So socket, socket. In the word cashew, you have that SH digraph, so it's going to stay together. And you'll notice in this second syllable, there's only that long U vowel pattern here. There's no consonants in that, and it's okay. You can have a syllable that it just consists of a vowel spelling, but you're not going to have a syllable that only has consonants. Every syllable has to have a vowel in it. And then the last one is secret. You'll notice that CR blend is going to be kept together. So what we're going to practice today, the words are going to actually follow this pattern where you can divide the words between the two consonants. So let's practice. So when you're teaching VCCV strategy, you're going to use the gradual release of responsibility model. So the first thing is the teacher is going to model. Now this is an anchor chart that you can use. I will have a link in the description below if you're interested in any of these, where you can go and check this resource out. But this anchor chart, you could put it in a student notebook, or you could use it as an anchor chart in your classroom to display. But it's just explicitly stating that when two consonants come between two vowels, you're going to divide between the two consonants. So the reading strategy is the first thing you're going to do is you're going to label your vowels, and then you're going to divide the word into syllables between the two consonants. So this would be the teacher modeling section. So for this, the teacher would display this word on the board, and then we're going to review the reading strategy. So we're going to label our vowels. So that would be the I and the A. They can highlight these vowels. They can put a V under the vowels. Whatever strategy works for your students is fine, but you want to make sure that they are identifying the vowels. And then they're going to divide the word between the two consonants. Now, sometimes it's easier for the kids to underline the two consonants in between those vowels so that they know that they are focusing on the two vowels that are in the middle. So we're not focusing on the beginning vowel or the beginning consonant or the ending consonant, just the ones that are in between the two vowels. And once we have identified those, we will divide that word into syllables between those two consonants. Now, it's important to maybe use a syllable division dot instead of a line, just because sometimes that line can be confusing for students and they may actually view it as an L and then misread the word. So throughout this, you will see that I'm using a syllable division dot to divide my word into syllables. So this syllable is closed because that consonant is closing in that vowel, so that vowel is going to say its sound, I. So zig. And then the second syllable, we know it's closed because that consonant is closing in that vowel. So that vowel is going to say ah. So it's zag. So our word is zig-zag. All right, let's do another one. So once again, the teacher is still modeling. So you would display this word on the board. And we're referring back to our anchor chart. We're going to label the vowels. So that's our U and our I. Then we're going to identify the consonants that are coming between these two vowels. So we're focusing on that B and that M. And then finally, we're going to divide this word into syllables between the B and the M. So this first syllable is closed because that B is closing in this vowel. So that vowel is going to say So sub. And then the second syllable, we also have a closed syllable because that consonant is closing in that vowel. So that vowel is going to say I. So mit. So the word is submit. All right, and then still continuing our teacher modeling, except this time you will notice that this word has more than two syllables, but the same strategy will apply. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to label our vowels. So that's the A, and the I. Then we're going to identify the consonants that are coming between the vowels. So we're going to start with the first set, the first VCCV pattern. So we would underline that N and that T. And then you have your vowel and your second vowel, that's your second set, and then that S and T is your second set of consonants. So we would underline that, and then we're going to come back and we're going to divide it into syllables. So in this first set, this first VCCV set, I'm going to divide in between the N and the T. And then the second set, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, I'm going to divide in between that S and the T. So I would divide right here. So fantastic, fantastic. Now, after your kids have had enough teacher modeling, and that's up to your discretion, you're going to move into guided practice. Now, the guided practice can look like where you and the students are working together to divide some more words into syllables and to read them, or they could even work with a partner and you're monitoring and helping as needed. Once they have had some guided practice, then you're going to move to your independent practice work. Now, this is a practice sheet that I have. If you're interested in this, all of the anchor charts are included. Student practice sheets are included, and some assessments. If you're interested in this, there will be a link to this resource in the description box below. I hope you found this video helpful. Please post any questions and comments about teaching VCCV words in the comment section below, and be sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button.